aerial objects, UFOs. We want to talk a little bit more about this with retired three-star U.S. Army Lieutenant General Jerry Boykin. Lieutenant General, the head of NORAD is saying the U.S. has adjusted its radar to track slower objects. Because, I mean, I think that for a lot of people we're saying, why didn't you know this was headed our way? I mean, did we only identify things like missiles with the radar we had and not floating balloon-like objects?
Well, first of all, I think historically NORAD has been concerned about what we'll call strategic weapons coming across the U.S. borders. So their radars are set to look for the bombers, the fighters, and that type of thing that might be part of a strategic attack on the United States or our ally Canada. That said, I think it is wise for them to lower their radar to the point that they can recognize at a reasonable distance whatever these objects are. One we know was a balloon, but whatever these other three are, we need to be able to locate these because we don't know what's in those objects, as they're calling them. We don't know we know now what was in the balloon, and it was not a weather balloon. It was very clearly collecting intelligence against the United States. So we need to be able to pick those things up now and make that a priority in terms of what we're scanning for.
In terms of what we're scanning for, I mean, especially in light of the timing, we have had tense talks with Russia and with China. Clearly, they are not our allies. We have the war going on in Ukraine. We have these strange airships or balloons or whatever they are, the size of cars and buses flying over the United States. What should Americans be thinking right now?
First of all, Americans should be demanding that our government give us as much information as possible. You said it earlier. We don't know nearly as much as the American public should know about what's going on. And people start to make suppositions. People start to assume certain things that may or may not be true. But until the government comes together and at least gives our Congress a briefing on what they're finding in these shoot downs, and as much information as possible, we're going to continue to have a frustrated population in America, and they're going to make some assumptions that are probably not in our best interest.
You know, you have China distancing themselves from any connection to these objects, saying initially that spy balloon was some type of civilian airship used to study weather. And then the Pentagon saying, no, we ain't buying that. And we found out that not only was this a surveillance balloon, but it had capabilities of steering. Not necessarily the case with these other three objects. But is it possible? I mean, I'm asking you to kind of put on your military hat and instinct here. Is it possible that China may have had these balloons or objects sent over to make it appear as though there were some type of meteorological balloons, and that's what these three other items are going to look like, much more innocuous in order to possibly cover what was that spy balloon?
Well, yes, anything is possible, and the Chinese are very deliberate in what they do. Let me say this just for your audience. In 1998, two PLA colonels, or that's the military for the Communist Party in China, two colonels wrote a treatise called Unrestricted Warfare, and they talked about how they would take down America. This was in '98, and I don't think anybody took them very seriously in '98, but if you go back and look at that, you can find it online today, Unrestricted Warfare. If you look at what they said they were going to do, you see it all playing out right now. They're doing exactly what they said they were going to do. So the question you ask is certainly a possibility. And I think it's also clearly meant to be provocative. And I'd be very careful, though, because I think what we don't want to do is get drawn into doing something that is foolish. That's why we need to take these things down before they get over U.S. territory.
Yeah, I mean, that's my question. Why are they being shot down when they're over the U.S. if you can see them coming? I mean, it's not like they're moving at the speed of light. And why aren't they being shot down over the Pacific Ocean if that's the direction that they're coming from? It's the million-dollar question.
Well, I think the Biden administration was ill-prepared for making the decisions that had to be made when this first balloon showed up. I think they've gotten a a lot better, but we need to take them down before they get over U.S. territory. And that means when they hit the coastal waters of the United States, the 12-mile limit, when they hit that, we need to take them out. We don't know that one of these things isn't loaded with a EMP, electromagnetic pulse, that could knock out our power grids, or a chemical or biological weapon. Some people say that's preposterous. Well, it is preposterous, but just think about who we're up against here, and don't underestimate what they might do.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.